Hello, friends, and welcome to today's episode of the Self-Improvement Project. It has been 3 weeks in the making. That is how long I have sat down between episodes, and it is an absolute pleasure to be able to sit down and share how things have been, reflect on all things life, and simply just take a moment to check in with you. So, I hope things are all well with you. I hope you've enjoyed the continuity of the Sunday Thoughts. I always like to think that it would be a bit like an accompanying friend. Maybe on a walk or meeting for coffee. Especially on a day off where we maybe need that reset. Life is busy on this end. Where all things go, I'm spending a lot of my time doing. And that's the way life is now. But having had the chance to pause from sitting down and recording, I feel that it gives me new perspective to share. I'll need to go and count, but definitely over 300 episodes worth of experience to gain perspective. There's a beauty and a peace in knowing that there's so many episodes that people can tap into from a timeless perspective. I had someone comment maybe 3 days ago on an episode that was over a year old. And it gives me so much joy that something can bring so much clarity in a certain moment of their life. I obviously started the Self-Improvement Project in 2020, but I would hope that those perspectives and the points made to allow you to question things in your life can always be relevant. I find myself considering a few questions, pondering a few thoughts at this moment in time, thinking about this idea of doing. One of my earliest memories of doing episodes was talking about being a human being instead of a human doing, and doing is great. Doing, when we find the things in our life that are worth doing, makes life worth living. Yet going through the process of being, from doing and then back to doing again, can highlight the value of each stage. You go busy and unaware to calm, quiet and aware to aware and busy again. And this is where I talked about the sweet spot last time, but this is where we want our life to be full. It's okay to be busy as long as you're busy on the right things. You'll always feel guilty about not spending enough time with your friends and people who are important to you. You'll always think, do I need to work this much? But understand on days where you feel good after a hard day's work, that is why that we do it. This is why it's so important to find something that makes us feel alive when we spend so much time doing it. Yes, it's always good to strive to become great at something, but it's okay to become great at something and be in the shadows. The thing that you could do for the rest of your life, knowing that you could have an impact, yet also knowing that you could adapt to anything out there, knowing that you can still add value and you can learn. There's this idea of living so many lives throughout your lifetime And I believe this comes at times when we're maybe not ready, but we have to jump, we have to leap into things that will feed our soul, that will make us feel alive when we have to. I think the most obvious big change in our life is when we make a significant decision about maybe our job or where we live. And as key as that can be, it should not undervalue any other big change that you make. Big changes are happening all around us all the time. They take up a lot of our headspace, they take up a lot of our energy. Even changing exercise regime can put a huge amount of stress on ourselves. So we should never discredit anything that isn't a big life-changing event, but we should appreciate the novelty and variety that we add into our lives. Every year is different. We just have to put the themes on it ourselves. It's fun knowing that this was the year of, and you're able to pinpoint what you did that year and the impact that it had at the time, but also what you still have from it. Sometimes we need to leave behind versions of ourselves or parts of ourselves to move on. But is that not just an opportunity for another life? An opportunity to not start over, but to use everything that we have in the past to help us live a new life, a new project that allows us to go into the next level of life, the next layer. It would be easy to think that we may never be able to fulfill all the things, the desires that we want in life. But, well, there'll never be anybody that does have that perspective, but surely those at the end of their life that feel like they're well lived are those that have lived many lives. Those that have lived many lives of fulfillment, of contentment, of correct decisions, of trusting intuition, giving things enough time to breathe and grow, whilst also knowing when the time is right to move on, knowing where that line in the sand is where we can respect the things of the past but allow it to give us a platform for the future, even if that platform is purely just perspective. I've done a huge evolution from really wanting to have a peaceful and quiet life to enjoying the busyness of things when they matter to us. The time and effort that it takes to do things that you may only get a few moments from, but knowing that you're at the peak of your life when you reach or maybe eclipse those expectations. Knowing that some days are great and some days are mundane. Knowing that everybody goes through all of that. But knowing what's going to make us happy in the end. Knowing that the time and effort that we put in now will allow us to look back and be proud. Knowing how to unlock from when we're having a bad day to how we could have a good day or a better day. The quick fixes of going out for a walk, doing some exercise, eating the right foods, and then building on that. Knowing that putting one thing out into the universe or into the world could not only change your day, but change your life. Knowing that you'll never be ready, but knowing that you'll be alright when push comes to shove, when you need to step up you'll be all right. I'm obviously sharing floods of thoughts with you guys, with it having been a little bit of a longer time. But it's the same with this podcast. The content is different to what it was. The tone, the feeling behind it. And that's something that may continue to evolve. That is something that you may be ready for or may not. And that's absolutely fine. The beauty is knowing that there is something out there that can be that accompanying friend on that path or on that journey with you, that's there to encourage you when things are going well and when things are not going well either. Knowing that the good times will roll, knowing that the bad times will come, but we'll always come out the other side. Knowing that it's okay to not have a clear plan or clear direction, even though those are the things that we're told to do the most. Knowing that by leaning into the things in life that we think will give us clarity and direction will still serve us, regardless of if they're right or if they're wrong. The typical idea of really going into a career thinking that you want that and then ending up thinking that you don't, and then the journey through that to then reach that thing that you were supposed to do, but it feels like it was just by chance. This is why being busy is good. This is why doing is good. This is why we were put on this earth to do things, to get up and go, to remember that even when we're in a rut, that rut can be that decompression that we need, that will give us the energy for when we do find the thing that we do need. That escapism from everyone else is busy and making an impact and I'm not doing enough. But you are, and you will when the time is right. It's this wonderful facet of life, that everything that I've talked about, from not being ready, from knowing that we can adapt and change, from those that get a little bit of luck and then have this amazing life, but they still won't feel ready. There is always that thought of the next thing, or maybe did I get lucky and I don't deserve this? These are all elements that we need to battle with all the time. And this is why it's so important to find the things in life that matter to us and make us feel alive. They're grounding in the times of desperation, but they're grounding in the times of the high moments of when we're on cloud 9. Just turning up and doing the things that make our lives better is all we need to remember. That cycle will never end. But if we're going to enjoy all these lives that we live, we need to make sure that we're doing the basics first of all. Keep that humility about you. Keep that simplicity about you. And just keep going. Guys, I'm going to close there. Wish me luck finding a title for this episode, but I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope even the flow of those thoughts can marry up with the flow of your own mind as well. So hopefully I'll be here next week to share some more. But know if I'm not, that all is good and all is well. And I will see you all next time. Cheers.